everybody, I'm Sinéad, and coming up in this video, we'll show you 6 simple steps to crafting a great functional resume. Functional resumes may be less conventional, but they are also ideal for some candidates. While we break down what a functional resume is, you'll learn who should consider using one, because hey, maybe it's you. And then we'll get into the 6 easy-to-follow steps to crafting a standout functional resume. And if you stick around until the very end, we've got a great bonus tip about what most resumes could benefit from, which just could be the difference between getting the interview or getting rejected. So you definitely don't want to miss it. All right, let's get started with the basics. Exactly what is a functional resume? Well, there is a reason functional resumes are also known as skills-based resumes, because functional resumes focus on your relevant abilities and expertise rather than on the specifics of your work history. So yes, this is different from the more common chronological resume, which presents your work history in a reverse chronological order. If you'd like a deep dive into chronological resume writing, we've got you covered on that front too with this video from Indeed's career experts. Now, a functional resume will still mention your education and work experience, but really its main objective is to focus on your skills. But not just any skills, relevant skills that pertain directly to the job you're applying for. And because they're formatted to allow employers to be able to quickly skim through all of those amazing skills, functional resumes can really grab attention. Which sounds pretty great, right? Now, you may still be wondering if and when someone should use a functional resume. So here are a few scenarios when we recommend it. Career switch. When you're ready for a job change, a functional resume helps employers focus on your transferable skills. Recent graduation. So you may not have a lot of professional experience, but you do have a lot of great skills to showcase. Gap in employment. Discussing a gap in your employment history can, yes, be nerve-wracking, but it is likely to come up in an interview. So a functional resume is really great to use in this situation because it shows off your qualifications rather than focusing on your employment dates. Dissimilar job titles. Maybe you have all the necessary experience to fit the role, but if you've worked a number of similar jobs or held very similar roles over the years, it can be hard to see variety in your experience. Again, functional resumes focus on all the great skills you've acquired instead of your specific past roles. Matching posted job requirements. For super specialized jobs that require a unique or advanced skill set, a functional resume may showcase what you can do and what unique skills you have, better than a chronological resume. Another time when functional resumes make sense is when you are passionate about a certain aspect of the job. So let's say that you're an avid knitter. Using a functional resume to highlight your knitting skills for a customer representative job at the yarn store just makes sense. Or maybe your mission is to help others as a fireman, but you've just been released from the Army as a combat medic. A functional resume may be able to help showcase your experience saving lives. Now, before we go through the 6 easy steps of functional resume writing, hit the like button down below if you found this video helpful so far. And of course, subscribe to our channel for new career tips every single week. All right, let's break down these steps. Step 1, create a resume outline and define your format. Now, you can start with a blank document, or you can choose from various resume templates on Indeed.com. Our resume builder tool allows you to skip formatting completely. All you have to do is respond to the prompts, and just like that, the tool will craft a perfectly formatted resume for you. So be sure to check it out down in the description box below. All right, now when it comes to formatting your functional resume, it is important to start at the top and work your way down, starting with your name and contact info at the top, your summary underneath. Next, a skills section, followed by experience, and last, education. As you craft your functional resume, keep it consistently straightforward and of course easy to read by following this formatting criteria. Set equal margins all around. 0.7 inches is good to start, but you can go up to 1 inch if needed. Choose a standard font like Times New Roman or Arial. Your name should be the biggest, about 16 to 18 point. Your section titles should be a little bit smaller at about 12 to 14 point. And you can choose to bold or underline your name and section titles. Finally, when filling in the rest of your resume, use 10 to 12 point font. making sure it's smaller than your section titles. And again, feel free to use our resume builder tool, which allows you to skip formatting altogether. All right, now that we have the outline and format of a functional resume down, let's start filling out those sections. Step 2, add your contact information at the top. Your contact information should include your full name, your email, your cell phone number, and your city and state. Pretty straightforward, right? But definitely be sure to consider the following. Your name on your resume should match the name you use online to eliminate any potential confusion. Nicknames listed in parentheses, such as James, Jim, Smith, is totally fine both on your resume and online. Include links to your professional social media profiles. Now, this is always a good move, especially if you're applying for a social media job or communications role. Don't include your street address. This is simply for privacy reasons, so only list your city and state. Pay attention to the details. Does your email sound professional? Is your phone number up to date? Ask yourself all of these questions when reviewing your resume. It can be easy to overlook the seemingly minor details, but double checking that everything is in order shows your attention to detail. Step 3, include a summary. Let's get to know you. Open up your resume with some context as to who you are and why you're applying for the role. One example of a professional summary may sound something like, experienced U.S. Army combat medic with excellent communication, interpersonal, and organizational skills, experienced in critical emergency situations. Seeking a position as a fireman in the Midwest where I can apply my skills to improve the lives of our community. Now, let's say that you've previously worked as a customer service rep, but you're ready to apply your skills to a new role in marketing. Here's a good example of what your summary may sound like. People-centric professional with over 3 years of experience resolving complex customer inquiries, passionate about building strong customer relationships, driving brand loyalty, and increasing customer engagement. As you think about your experience and your skills, always aim to tie it all back to the job that you're applying for. And pro tip here, guys, change up your summary so that it's unique to each job you apply for to ensure that recruiters will be able to grasp why you're a great fit for this role. Step 4, create a skills section. Your skills section further allows employers to get to know you by showing what you're capable of. You'll summarize your significant skills in this section while including your main experience and your core career goals. Now, using the veteran example, your summary of skills may sound like compassionate and empathetic attitude towards patients and civilians, great verbal communication and excellent interpersonal skills, strong time management and multitasking skills. And when you can add data, do it because it's so important to bulk up your skills and to make your resume as robust as possible. If you have great measurable examples to include, you can also group your skills together as shown here. So for the first skill, service mentality, the example reads, served 4 years as airborne combat medic and promoted ahead of peers to sergeant within 3 years. Under communication, an example could be, worked closely with 60+ nations as the only team of medics deployed, Iraq for 8 months. And under professionalism, this veteran's example reads, achieve commandments list in the basic leaders course, top 20%. Use the WHO method as you summarize your skills. And WHO stands for what you did, how you did it, and the outcome. Using the WHO method will provide a clear, concise summary of how you demonstrated each skill. Step 5, include your experience. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Didn't you say functional resumes were all about skills, not experience? Aha, you've been paying attention. Now, while skills are definitely the main focus, any experience you do have should be included, keeping in mind that the experience should pertain to the role that you're currently applying for. So instead of approaching this section thinking, all right, it's time to list every position I've ever held, instead ask yourself, what work have I done that's relevant to this role? Your experience will always go right below your skills and should include the workplace name, your job title, the dates of your employment, and a brief description of your role and your key contributions while employed. Now, yes, there is a bit to consider here, so let's break it down with some examples. Santa Paula Hospital, California, 2018 to 2022. Registered nurse. Responsible for checking patients' vital signs and updating patient medical records. Averaging 6 patients a day. Mentored 7 newly onboarded nurses to learn departmental procedures and best practices. Instituted a new procedure for keeping catheters safer, reducing catheter-based infection by 6% within 6 months. Looks good, right? Now, let's imagine that before this applicant became an RN, they also had other relevant experience, which means it should also be included in this section. Here's an example. Cruz Hospital, Texas, 2016 to 2018. Paramedic assistant. Responded to 6 to 12 calls between a 12-hour shift, increasing our unit's overall response rate by 50%. Checked availability and function of emergency equipment 4 times a week, 12-hour shifts. Applied principles of sepsis, infection control, and medical ethics to 30 patients in first week on the job. Now, if you don't have any work experience, don't move past this section just yet. Take some time to consider what other experience you may have to bring to the table, like babysitting gigs, freelance work, or even volunteer work. As long as it's relevant to the job you're applying for, don't hesitate to include it here. Step 6, list your education. If you have completed high school or attended any post-secondary school, you'll list the name of the institution, area of study, and any relevant achievements and diplomas or degrees received. If you acquired certificates and licenses, or if there's any coursework you want to be able to showcase to employers, you'll include those here too. I also recommend including the date of completion if it is within the last 3 years, and any upcoming license expiration dates are great for employers to know too. Now, if you are currently in school working towards your diploma or a degree, you can still include it as part of your education. Just add your expected dates of completion. This may look like Green Valley State 2020 to 2024 expected graduation date, Bachelor of Science in Supply Chain Management, forklift certified. And while we're talking education, check out this video right over here for even more ways to grow in your career. But wait, there's more. Now, if you've decided that the functional resume is the resume for you, remember that best practices of all resume writing still apply. So before you get writing, here are a few pointers to craft an incredible standout resume, no matter the format. 1, keep your resume to 1 to 2 pages. This is the standard for basically everyone, except for those who are decades into their careers or in academia. 2, clear, concise headlines like skills and experience make your resume so much easier for employers to navigate. 3, use compelling verbs to fully describe your impact and accomplishments, such as completed, led, trained, modernized, or solved. 4, include tangible, measurable outcomes for each skill whenever possible. And if you ever have a hard time measuring your results, ask yourself, did I reduce risk? Did I improve efficiency? Did I reduce costs? 5, proofread, and then proofread some more. Yes, take the time to edit that resume. You definitely want to be sure that it addresses the skills and abilities listed in the job description. And proofreading is the only way you'll be sure that there are no errors, because let's be real, a resume with errors is a non-starter. You worked so hard on this resume, so let's make sure it's giving you the best chance of getting an interview before you hit that submit button. It also never hurts to get a second opinion. Now, if you found this video helpful, please give it a like down below, and of course, subscribe to our channel right over here. And then be sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our weekly career advice. But we've got you covered right now with this playlist right over here. And for even more tips on writing a standout resume, you gotta check out this video right here. I'm Sinead. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.